Here's the next clip where Amouranth called the police on her husband after he charged at her. And at that point, they had been arguing for over 10 hours.
So you're literally just gonna be super defiant, is that right?
Shit. Talk about problems. Hey, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Leave. You
face.
can move. You can go away.
I wasn't in camera view. You moved the camera view to me.
Bro? Yeah, we're live.
Today, Quinker Nation, we are talking about a potential world record, as I do believe what we're covering today will actually be included in the Guinness Book of World Records. That record, of course, being the longest argument ever streamed, and it goes to Amouranth, who streamed for over 24 hours on Kick, and just about 90% of this stream was her arguing with her husband, Nick. It got so heated at one point that Amouranth even called the cops on her husband and was also lying in the fetal position at another point. And this entire situation has been met with a lot of skepticism given some of the past stuff that Amouranth has gotten into, which we will be covering. But before we do any of that, I gotta flip a coin. We've got a quarter right here. Go ahead and call it heads or tails. And there it is. That is tails. Now, if you called tails, congratulations. You have just won yourself me e-bagging you to subscribe to my channel so I can get a cool little fancy silver play button. But if you have commitment issues, totally understand. If you could just leave a like on this video, boosting the algorithm would help me out a great ton. And of course, if you chose heads, I will get your ass next video. Pinky promise. To show you guys some highlights from this streamed argument, we have Yeet on Twitter, who has collected a lot of the clips from this stream. And we'll start with the first one he posted. Amouranth and her husband Nick have been fighting for hours on Kick, still happening now if you're interested. And this was a pretty intense argument, and admittedly, if this is acted, they're doing a very good job with the acting.
No, I'm an insane one, Nick,
No.
and you were in an insane mindset.
No, you're just, something is mentally unhinged for you right now, because normally
it's literally you. You are unhinged.
When you know that we're being swatted, you're at least concerned for the dogs, and you're almost gleeful.
I was not concerned in this case because one, I know that the dogs aren't in here, so there's nothing for me to be concerned, and I know that they aren't free on the outside.
They're like on the patio, and then
Either on the patio concealed.
Trumps can jump over things.
I don't have to be concerned if I didn't hear a shot go off. There's nothing for me to be concerned. If we had heard gunshots, yes, I'd be concerned. But we didn't. So why would I be concerned if police enter my door like they do every night lately because we hired them?
Those aren't the ones we hired.
Yeah, well, I don't know that at first. I didn't know we're being swatted. So
right, because the ones we hired are gonna fucking slam the door, and then I'll throw my hands up.
If they're trying to talk to us, they do knock on the door loudly.
And I throw my hands up?
You didn't do that until they opened the door.
No shit, Sherlock.
Yes, so what the fuck?
Why
are you retarded?
First of all, no, this is you being retarded, because here's the thing, right? You're being super flippant, and you're not even making any sense. You just said you're not concerned because no shots are fired. Bro.
Yes, there would be nothing for me to be concerned.
No.
Now, if you want context for what they are arguing about right now, you're not going to get it. The people who are watching this stream were barely privy to the context, because this is clearly a lot of arguments and a lot of fighting that has been going on behind the scenes that they're just, starting to do a little publicly. Sorry, baby. And so my best guess is just that Amouranth is not responding appropriately in the eyes of her husband, Nick, and so they're arguing about the semantics of it. But don't worry, this continually gets way worse. Here's the next clip where Amouranth called the police on her husband after he charged at her. And at that point, they had been arguing for over 10 hours.
I'm not unokay with being observed.
Okay, great.
I'm unokay with you pointing the camera.
Well, then leave. I'm not going to follow you.
So you're literally just gonna be super defiant, is that right?
Shit. Talk about problems. Hey, what the fuck is wrong with you, bro? Leave. You can move. You can go away.
I wasn't in camera view. You moved the camera view to me.
Bro? What is wrong with you? You got.
Ma'am?
Yeah.
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
514, anything
He's just throwing it over there.
he's saying he's been assaulted.
He's sexual.
You needed to?
No.
Now, yes, the cops were called, but I don't think that they were necessary. At least it didn't seem like from any of the clips that I had seen so far. And this kind of leads me into another major point of all this going on, which is that a lot of people don't think that this is real. A lot of people are thinking that this is staged. And I say that because all you have to do is go look at the comments from any of these clips. If we go to just under this second clip that I had shown you here, the first comment is scripted. And everything below it has to be an act. Everything Amouranth does is for attention and clout. You think it's legit or clickbait slop? They seemed pretty tight after the robbery. We'll talk about that in a moment. This is either the fakest thing or the stupidest people in a relationship ever. Like, she already claimed she broke up with him, but then he was in her house and saved her life with a gun, and now this? I think I only believe the robbery. So talking about claiming that she broke up with him, all this stuff, this is all relating to the first kind of drama that people got really upset at Amouranth with. And that's because about 2 years ago now, Amouranth went live and had her phone up where she was talking to this guy, Nick, on the phone, and he was verbally abusing her, and she was crying and she was really upset about it. And she was alleging that he was the entire reason that she was doing any of the content that she was, like the adult stuff, the OnlyFans, any of that, any of the nude stuff that she was doing on Twitch. It was because he wanted her to do it to make a lot of money.
You're interrupting me telling you!
Why did you say you were gonna kill my dogs?
Leave the house.
Okay, I can leave the. You know what? Actually, I shouldn't leave the house because my dogs are here.
We'll take the dogs and leave. I'm telling you. You're asking the question, I'm telling you, and you're interrupting my fucking, telling you. Literally.
You just told me you were gonna kill dogs if I didn't do a 24-hour stream.
Nope, did not say that. Now you're just fucking being a liar.
I'm not
I
just.
said it.
You used my body to build this empire.
And I'm gonna get your OnlyFans banned too.
Now, those clips I just showed you were from that 2022 controversial phone call of her talking to her husband, which her fans then found out about because up until that point, she had never confirmed it. And to viewers, this guy was seemingly incredibly controlling, incredibly abusive. You know, we can't speak to how Amouranth behaved behind the scenes, but from everything we saw here, she looked like a victim. And I'm saying this with a bit of doubt, a bit of uncertainty, because shortly after this, she talked about how she was going to be separating from Nick, but that didn't end up happening. News outlets, journalists, and all that were looking for divorce filings that never came. None of it showed up. And then we got confirmation they were staying together when Amouranth got robbed. This leads into the second controversy where 3 armed gunmen came to Amouranth's compound home that she lives at and were trying to get her to give them her crypto wallet. While she was kind of leading them around, she led them over to where her husband was, Nick, and he fired off his pistol at them. I believe he actually was able to shoot one of them and they fled. Now, a lot of people were really skeptical about this one as well, but I'm led to believe that there is some actual reality to the robbery. And I say that because 2 of the gunmen are being prosecuted.
Charged with assaulting and trying to steal Bitcoin from a popular influencer, Amouranth. Well, they were in court today as well. Now, Amouranth says that 3 men broke into her home in Northwest Harris County earlier this month, pistol whipped her, and also demanded cryptocurrency. Well, today, 17-year-old DeMarcus Morris and 18-year-old Dylan Campbell were charged with aggravated kidnapping and aggravated robbery with a deadly weapon. Now, 19-year-old Brian Guerrero bonded out last week. A 16-year-old has also been identified as a suspect in this case.
Now, with the thieves actually being prosecuted, I'm led to absolutely believe that that was real. But additionally, her husband being there to defend her kind of opened a can of worms of, you said you were going to separate from this incredibly abusive, controlling dude, and now here you are being saved by him in this situation. Not to say that that makes him a better person. That was also his money that was being stolen. But it got people thinking that this original call that happened to them, there seemed to be less validity to it because he was still around. And now I think some people just haven't caught up to date about the second part, the robbers that were actually prosecuted, so maybe they were still skeptical about that. But even going back to that original call, she also accused her husband of being the reason that she was making any adult content at all. But just shortly after all this happened, literally within the coming weeks, she was back on streaming herself with sensor bars on her boobs and all this stuff that she said he was the reason that she did it all. Shout out to More Pegasus for the clip that I'm showing you guys right now.
And literally just weeks after her is saying all these things about her husband and basically saying that the husband forced me to do all of this, she went back to the OnlyFans, back to the topless sort of streams, the hot tub sort of streams, and radio silence from the entire internet.
I just wanted to make sure you guys were acquainted with why there is so much skepticism that's being put against this entire clip of her going 24 hours arguing back and forth with this guy. And thinking about it, like as just a normal person, you and me, it's insane that you would be comfortable arguing with your partner, your husband, your wife, for over 10 hours on a live stream in front of thousands of people. Like, that's just an incredibly private thing to be blasting out publicly, which makes people think, okay, it's gotta be scripted. There's gotta be something to it. I'm curious to hear what you guys think, because I mean, if they're acting, kudos to them, because 24 hours of going through this and acting and hamming this up is pretty damn impressive. But number two, probably one of my bigger reasons for why I don't think that this is like just scripted, or at the very least, most of this is very authentic, is the fact that Amouranth did call the cops. And I don't say that because I think that it was warranted for her to call the cops. It's actually the opposite. I don't think there was a valid reason for her to call the police. I think she was wasting resources on their argument that they were having. And I think it's a terrible look for her to have called the police under the circumstances that she did, because it would mean that she wasted those resources for clout, which obviously isn't outside the realm of possibility, but it just doesn't make sense that if that's your focus for trying to blow this up, that you would risk something like that you would risk wasting the time of police officers who are generally trying to be first responders for shit that's actually going down. They shouldn't be pulling up to a husband and wife bickering for 12 hours. But that might just be me. Maybe they are dumb enough to do that. But not just that, Amouranth's husband exposed that she allegedly gave a hand job to Fresh and Fit producer Aaron Pogson.
Can we talk about you kissing black men while we're married?
That is not even true. Oh my God.
Oh, we don't want to talk about that one.
We can talk about that, sure.
Okay, let's talk about it.
You had me go on Tinder dates that I didn't want to go on, and then you started calling me while we were at the karaoke bar a lot.
You asked me if you could have an open relationship.
That is no.
Oh, you didn't?
You were wanting an open relationship.
No, did you ask that? Okay, maybe I will sleep with Aaron. Did we say that?
No, that is
never?
not.
You never asked that?
No, I did not.
Oh, okay. We're gonna lie to your chat now. Okay.
We're literally not lying.
And you didn't give him the hand job in the parking lot?
I did not.
Oh, okay.
Correct. I
didn't drive up on you guys together, you giving him a hand job in the parking lot in Chinatown.
These men can't even find porn that would make us money of such sexual acts that you are claiming right now. Yet you're saying I would do it off stream for no money?
Yes.
You know what's better than having a really sensitive disagreement with your partner, especially about intimate relations with other people? Having that discussion live. See, I don't know if that's true. I don't really care if it's true, but it is really uncomfortable to be sitting here watching it. And when I see things like this, it just makes me consider, is this fake or not again? Because on one hand, you couldn't waterboard this out of me. There is no way that I would be having this conversation in front of anybody. And so the fact that they're so freely having this conversation and doing this in front of the audience of people that pay their rent every month is just insane. Or their mortgage. I don't know where they live. Don't fight me on that. Come on. So one part of me is like, oh, this has got to be scripted. But then the other side of me is like, how much are they benefiting from this? How much are they benefiting from the short temporary burst of clout that has nothing to do with her general monetary gains, that being her lewd adult content? I guess maybe it does pull people in. Maybe it's affecting that white knight kind of complex that some people have, I need to defend her, so I'm going to subscribe to her OnlyFans and watch and look at her boobies. Maybe that works. I'm not an analyst for OnlyFans, so maybe there's an angle here that I'm not gonna see because I'm not in it that deep, but it probably isn't that deep. The last clip that I'm showing you guys here is Amouranth lying in the fetal position, crying while her husband speaks to what seems to be a mediator before walking out of the room.
Yeah, I think you're in a loop right now, but I don't understand, Angelica. I don't understand why. Because we have been making sure she only gets at most one Vyvanse a day. I don't even think you didn't take one today. And so it's she's just acting like she's looping, or at least I'm assuming that because the conspiracy theory thing. But otherwise, it's kind of imperceptible to tell that she's acting irregular, except that also she just doesn't kind of care about anything.
I have not slept. I have not eaten. I have hardly drank. I have water, and I'm stuck.
Well, I agree, but we're kind of past that right now. I didn't want to. So hey, just for you to know the full context, Angelica. All night, I was telling her, let's turn off stream. Let's turn off stream. Let's not do this on stream.
You started
and every time, you know, every time, I'm gonna put it on speakerphone so it's more fair. Anytime that I said that, she would grab it and refuse. And I'm like, okay. So she kept wanting to stream it.
This is where, for me, it's getting into the realm of this is more real than it is scripted. And unfortunately, it just seems like these two people are like this. He seems completely fine with Amouranth saying, hey, no, we're gonna keep streaming this for him to continue to engage in like fighting each other. At the same time, Amouranth seems completely fine with that because maybe numbers will go up or maybe they'll get clout and people will talk about it. I'm guilty, hello. But on a more sincere note, it also sounds like maybe this has to do with how Amouranth is being medicated. They mention her taking Vyvanse, which is an ADHD medication. It's a stimulant. And if not taken properly, like any other ADHD medication, it can keep you awake. It can kind of make you act a certain type of way, especially if it's not the correct dosage or the right medication for you. And it sounds like maybe she was suffering some sort of side effects from an improper dose, or maybe testing out the Vyvanse and it wasn't working for her. And her husband here, Nick, alludes to this with this mediator. And so I'm led to assume partly that that might have to do with what's going on, that maybe she wanted to keep this going, or she's acting this way in part because of the argument that they're having live, but also in conjunction with this medication issue that she's running into. I know I said I was showing the last clip, but just to give you an understanding, like there were complete breakdowns during this like this. I'm not going to show you the whole clip, just a couple seconds.
She's actually defending the guy who slaughtered him.
Call your
She's
dad.
like, well,
Amouranth.
you mean I
Call your dad.
catalyzed? You're saying I catalyzed? I catalyzed?
If you hate me, just kill me, please. It would be so much easier.
Random just
I
kicked one
can't
dog.
deal with this
Man,
anymore.
So for me personally, I'm leaning on the side of maybe this is a bit more real. If not, kudos to the acting. The script work is phenomenal. I hope those officers were paid actors, because if they weren't, this is really pathetic and like actually dangerous to your surrounding area, since they wasted their time coming to you guys instead of actually helping someone that needed help. But again, genuinely curious to hear what you guys think. This is one of the most unemployed dramas that I've gotten to cover in a bit. Let me know what you think, and I'll see you guys later. Adios, peace, bye. Consider subscribing, liking the video, whatever. See you, bye.